Ellen McCauley. I'm at Pray It Off in Syracuse, New York on this beautiful March day. And what's interesting is as the birds start coming back and as we see a little bit more sun in Syracuse, which we really don't see that often, all of a sudden a lot of the dirt and grime and a lot of the clutter just comes to mind. You're like, I didn't know all that stuff was in my yard. I was buried under snow, you know? And there's something about spring that always excites me because I'm really not a big winter fan. The older I get, and I don't want to fall on the ice. I just feel like I don't want to drive on the ice. That's where I show my age with the winter. I just don't want to go and fall and be on the ice. So, when spring comes, though, I have this rejuvenation, and I feel like we can clean our homes, we can clean our clutter, and it's a process. And I've been working on this for 14 Pray It Off years, since 2008 to 2022. I'm so much better, but I'm not there. And will we ever be there? Who knows? Will I ever be mentally a thin person? I talked to so many people tonight, and they said, I gained weight this week because I was under stress. Now, these are card-carrying Pray It Off many-year members, and every week or every year we talk about not giving in to stress and overeating, but it's our go-to. It's our go-to. And what we need to is replace our go-to with something else. Will we do it every time? No. But will we do it more often? That's the key. So I always think in the spring, like I remember when my cousin unexpectedly died. She was an adult, and she had adult children, and her one daughter spent the entire night mopping the floors on her hands and knees and washing the walls, and she deep cleaned her whole house because that's how she dealt with the stress. That's how she dealt with the grief. She just had to be doing something. And so when things happen in our lives, we can either eat a box of donuts and then get out the cat o' nine tails and say, mea culpa, mea donut a culpa. Or we can say, that floor needs some mopping, you know, and as you're mopping, a Hail Mary full of grace, help me deal with the stress, help this person. Everyone's got a lot. Look at Ukraine and how bad that is. And then our own families, sick kids, sick this, sick, terrible, tragic situations in many of our lives. And the food isn't going to make it better. I can attest that. I can attest it. It doesn't make it better. Maybe for a moment. Maybe you feel good, that high you get from that sugar and all that. But then in the long run, especially if you come here and you weigh in, you think, you know, what could I have done to not do that? So as we look at our homes, as we look at things that we want to deal with, because the clutter isn't just in our homes, it makes us feel cluttered in our heads and in our spirits. If you go into your office and there's a ton of terrible clutter in there, you just feel like it's just not what you want. So I say keep and release. God grant me the serenity to keep the things I need to keep, the courage to release the things I do not need, and the wisdom to know the difference. The same with an organized life. God grant me the serenity of an organized life with leisure time. I want some leisure time, people. The courage to change my habits to ensure these joys, and the wisdom to be flexible. And then I love some of these. I love them so much I want to read some. As I declutter my life, I open up space to receive the support and comfort that I need. As I let go of what is insignificant to me, I am better able to enjoy those things that are important to me. Before I accept any new commitments, I release one that demands equivalent time and energy. I'm always being asked to be on boards. You know, would you be on this board? It's a really great board, and you would be great on it, Ellen. You would get so much done. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, there's 24 hours in a day, and I'm busy like 20 of them. So I'm like, thank you, how kind of you to think of me. How I'm so honored. I'm going to have to say no. Learning to say no was a very difficult thing for me, but I've gotten better at it. And the reward is I'm not as stressed. And it goes for the children too. The children might say to you, Mom, I need you to babysit, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. I can so appreciate that, and I love you so much, and I want to help you. Let's get out our calendars and see what days I can help, because I can't help all the time. You got a life, okay? I accept my progress as proceeding in the Lord Jesus Christ's time. I acknowledge and celebrate all my victories, small and large. I always say that in 2008, I did not start here in the 300s, go down to 150 pounds in 2 years, let's say, and say, okay, I'm stopping the group now because I'm at my goal weight. I truly believe that God had me start in 2008 and go, because that is life. And I had a lot more lessons to learn than just about the weight. A lot more lessons. I allocate space and time for each item I have or bring into my home and life. I allot more time than I need for a task or a trip, allowing a comfortable margin for the unexpected. I always do that. I am never late. Never. I am entitled to surroundings of beauty, harmony, order, and serenity. Look at the basic word there. I'm entitled to this. Ever think of it? I'm entitled to serenity? Wow. So often we think we have to fight for it. I create at least one clutter-free zone or room in which I keep only items I use and love. I love the sounds of that. This is a good one. I actively participate in my own life. Do you ever feel like you're on a treadmill and you're like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. And then at the end of the day, you're like, whoa, is this my life? This is our life. Our life. We're living it right here. I lovingly release those items that are no longer useful, trusting that whatever I need will be provided. You know what the easiest things to get rid of are? Other people's things. I helped my niece last Saturday. I had no problem whatsoever getting rid of her stuff. None. And it was rather instructional because if I did her stuff, and the thing is, she didn't care. She just wanted the help. And I'm discerning. If it can sell on the estate sale, I'm a cheapskate. I know what can sell. If it can sell, I saved it. Otherwise, donate. Some was trash. You know, do you ever realize sometimes when you're cleaning your house that a lot of what you have is trash? Really? Not even, no one would want it. It's trash. And you're living in it? So, if it's so easy to get rid of other people's stuff, why does it seem so hard that it's hard to get rid of your own stuff? And the thing is, how many purses do you need? Okay? I participate with my clutter by putting my attention and action on it in the present moment. One thing that I learned back in 2010 at Pray It Off, you might say, how do you remember this? I remember it because it was kind of a defining moment. You get the mail and you go, recycling, shredding, pay that bill, and you do it right then and there. Otherwise, all of a sudden, you have a pile. And then sometimes you're like, where's that bill? People waste so much time trying to find things in their clutter. I call it the black hole of Calcutta. And I've got some things in that black hole that I'm looking forward to finding them someday. All right? I trust myself to know what is important versus unimportant, sufficient versus excessive, or necessary versus inconsequential. You know what? I don't always trust myself. I don't always trust myself. I'm Irish, I think. what if I need this little yellow sticky here that's got notes for the March 24th Pray It Off meeting? What if I need it someday? And the thing is, the majority of the time, 99% of the time, when you get rid of things, you never even give it a second thought. I used to have all these plates on my kitchen wall, like plates with a plate hanger, and I liked them. I came home and I'm like, oh, those plates, I like them. And then one day I said to Bob, I'm sick of those plates. And then I sold them all at the flea market, and I could barely get $1 a piece, and here I thought they were like priceless. And then I never gave those plates a second thought until I'm bringing them up here. Certain things. Now, if your grandmother gave you a pearl necklace, I'm not talking about putting that at the rescue mission. I'm talking about things that are inconsequential. People and relationships are more important than my lifeless possessions. I'm going to read that again. People and relationships are more important than my lifeless possessions. Imagine you're in Ukraine and you got your kid in a stroller, you got a backpack, and you're heading for Poland. What about your possessions? They're meaningless. Imagine you're in New Orleans and a tornado, hurricane, whatever they get when they seem to get it all, and your house is gone. The wildfires out in the West, your stuff is gone. We can't hold on to the stuff. If you have the people, that is the most important thing. And I'm going to stop right there, Bobby.